if you're trying to warm up your teenager to outdoor adventure,
Yeah.
this is the park to take them to.
Yeah.
Because not only does it just have epic adventures, but it's also like they're going to care about this. It's Instagrammable.
So Instagrammable. Yeah. This is the Exploring the National Parks podcast with Dirt in My Shoes. My name is Ash, and I'm a former park ranger and the founder of Dirt in My Shoes. I think that the parks are best seen from the trail, and I'm here to make national park trip planning easy.
And I'm John. I carry the kids on the trails, I tell stories, and notice all the things that Ash doesn't care about much, like flowers.
Join us as we show you around America's spectacular national parks.
We're sharing our favorite places, fun facts, adventures, and misadventures.
And we'll even throw in a little trip planning.
Let's start exploring. So we're coming to the end of the summer, and I have to tell everybody that I am so excited because this is the first year that all of my fruit trees are fruiting. I have spent so many years nurturing and loving 2 peach trees and 2 apple trees, and this is the first time that all of them at the same time are returning that love with fruit.
John hugs them every morning and whispers sweet nothings to them. And
Listen, I don't do that.
they've been very fickle these past few years.
It's like I was dating Ash all over again. This wasn't returning the same, attention that I was giving them.
You do love your trees.
I do.
And
love
I
my
am
trees.
proud of you
Thank
for
you.
getting fruit off of them this year, finally.
Oh my gosh. They told me that where we live was way too cold for peach trees. And
And it is. So it turns out.
hence why it has taken 5 years for both of them to give me peaches in the same year.
So, I know. We're crazy tree people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've, learned that about us yet, but we planted 30 trees at our house when we moved in.
Mm-hmm.
And John lovingly shoveled out all of those holes for all of those trees.
Yes, I did.
And we planted a bristlecone pine. It was like maybe 1.5 feet when we planted it because they're very slow growing trees.
And now it's 1.75 feet.
Yeah, it's definitely growing. So that tree's going to go with us to any houses that we move to in the future.
Exactly.
We're taking that one up and taking it with us. That's John's favorite tree. So
It's true. But Ash loves peaches, and I love peaches, and I wanted her to have peaches, and I wanted me to have peaches, so I planted peaches. And now...
And then we just buy peaches from other people who are able to grow them.
Exactly. At a cost that is generally lower than what I spend on my own trees. So if
Oh
you're
my
a
gosh.
gardener out there and you can empathize, let me know.
If they're a gardener, they probably can't empathize. They probably get peaches. They probably know what they're doing.
That's
But
probably
we're
true.
trying here. We're trying. Today's episode is about teenagers in the
Yes.
national parks. This is a request that we've gotten from several different people. We don't have teenagers.
But teenagers love peaches.
Yes.
And which is why I brought those up.
We love peaches. So therefore we love teenagers.
Oh my gosh.
So we don't have teenagers, but we were teenagers.
Yeah.
And also, our kids are not yet teenagers, and there's certain parks that we are kind of waiting, kind of biding our time with, knowing that they'll be better when our kids are older.
Right.
So that's where we're coming from on this.
And I think you're exactly right in kind of pointing out that there are some adventures that you do need to have certain capabilities to do properly.
Yeah.
And, water activities sometimes can definitely be in that category.
So we did a whole podcast episode about our favorite parks for young kids.
Mm-hmm.
And for young kids, it's like you're looking for like shorter trails and shorter driving times.
Right.
And no big cliffs.
Mm-hmm.
No like ones full of cactus needles that
Right.
the kids, like that's kind of where we went with that one. And
Sand that you can play in.
yeah. And with the teenager parks or parks that I would bring a teenager to, or that I think would be more fun with a teenager, these are ones where it's like you do have a lot more flexibility in what you can do because hopefully, a teenager could sit for some longer driving times and can hike a little bit further. And you don't have to worry about them falling off a cliff
Right.
or, landing in hot water at Yellowstone or
Right.
something. It's like your worries are totally different when your kids aren't super small.
Exactly. When they get to the teenager stage of life, you can trust them enough to push the boundaries of safety
Yeah.
a little bit. Or, going on some adventures where you and your teen struggle together is part of the bonding experience.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
and you get to have these big adventures together. So we definitely are super looking forward to that time of life. We still have a few more years till we get there.
Yeah.
But it's like, we're already having so much fun with our kids exploring the national parks with them.
Hmm.
But it's like, it's like we're just kind of chomping at the bit for them to just get a little bit older and a little more capable to do some of these big things that we've been wanting to do as a family.
I know. And I have some siblings that have children that are teenagers. And they're the best. I love
Yeah.
their kids. Their kids are so fun.
John informed me before we started recording that he has a list of 16, right?
Yes.
16 reasons that teenagers make the best travel companions in the
Yes.
national parks.
Okay. Because listen, can I just say, and this is for teens and parents, but teens, if you're listening, you are your parents' dream in so many ways. You're amazing. You've got some things that you can still work on, like all of us do.
Well, your brain is still developing, so
Exactly. And it
you
always
don't
feels
make the smartest decisions.
it always feels good to have an adult tell you your brain is still developing. So you really cut me off at the knees there, Ash.
If it makes you feel better, John's brain is still developing.
Yes, I have definitely, and that's on purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but what we're trying to say is nobody's got it all figured out. Your parents don't have it all figured out, But guaranteed, you as a teenager are probably at least 80% of your parents' greatest hopes and dreams for you. And at this point in your life, it's like the fourth quarter of a basketball game, and your parents are trying to stuff as many family memories and experiences into your head before you move out and leave them alone with their spouse again,
Yeah.
And
Wah, wah.
and so that way you'll want to come back and see them every once in a while. But listen, I know teens get a lot of hate. People are always throwing shade at teens because of this or that, and some of that's deserved. But especially as a parent, sometimes it can be hard to remember just how far they have come, and as a result, just how much your life as a parent has changed. And that's why, thanks for the introduction, Ash, that's why I created this list of 16 reasons why teens are a parent's dream child travel companion. So let's start it off. Number 1, they can go to the bathroom by themselves.
That's a big one.
It's huge.
Well, especially when they're like gross pit toilets at the national parks.
Yes.
It's like, okay, my child is small enough to like fit down that hole. That's terrifying.
Exactly. How many times as a parent have we had, mainly me because we have sons, have we had to squish inside a nasty pit toilet and then try to clean it up just so our kids can make a mess of it?
Ugh.
It's so bad. Okay, number 2, we're going to get away from the gross. Okay, number 2, as long as they aren't taking selfies, you can trust them to be safe near ledges.
Yes, that's a big one.
And that qualifier is for all ages, not just teens, though, by the way.
Yeah.
Anybody taking selfies is not safe near a ledge.
Yeah.
Okay. That opens up Grand Canyon, Canyonlands, Black Canyon, opens up Yosemite, so many different options now for just letting your kids go and explore a little bit. It's so nice. Number 3, teens know not to touch sharp or hot objects.
Yes.
And that is a big deal around cacti in campfires because we have had children with, their bottoms turned into a pincushion,
Yep.
and
Yep.
that wasn't fun. And when I was a kid, I fell into a fire and I had a big scar on my arm because I fell into one. So I wasn't a teen yet.
Yeah. And when he was a teen, he just made, gas bombs to throw into the fire pit. So,
When I was a teen, I was on a Boy Scout backpacking trip, and somebody had a butane canister and wasn't paying attention, and it got too close to the fire and it exploded,
yeah.
and shrapnel went everywhere,
Yeah.
and we all dove like a grenade got thrown into the fire.
Oh my God.
Luckily, we were all safe.
Yeah, that was lucky.
Okay, number 4. Teens can handle long drives better. Oh my gosh.
They just ignore you.
Yes.
They don't want to talk to you.
Well, I remember the first time we went to Glacier, Google Maps didn't take into account that we had a 3-month-old, and it said that it would take us 11 hours. And we were dumb enough to believe Google.
Yeah.
But luckily we weren't dumb enough to try to do it all in one day.
But he did scream for probably 15 hours
Yes.
as we made our way up to Glacier.
Yeah. That
So
was
that
also
was not fun.
that was also the trip that we stayed at a haunted Airbnb in Butte.
That's true.
That was fun. Number 5. Teens can appreciate things that smaller kids can't, like history, science, geology, and art.
Yep.
Some of these gateway towns near the national parks have art galleries. And if you have small kids, you can spend 30 seconds in an art gallery.
Before they start trying to touch everything, and you are no longer welcome.
Exactly. Teens, you're amazing. You can look at, walk around and appreciate things like art. Okay, number 6. You don't need a pack and play anymore. Regular beds are just fine. Oh my gosh. I cannot tell you how much parents stress around sleeping.
In a hotel, yeah.
Yes.
Like, what are we going to do with these children that can't stay on a bed?
Yes. And on the same, sleeping, teens don't need naps.
Yeah.
Which means you can do whatever, whenever, and continuously explore. You can do so much in a day when you don't have to worry about nap times. Number 8, early mornings and late nights are more acceptable.
Yep. Yep.
Now, a little bit of the responsibility lays with you teens to make sure that mornings are less grumpy, okay?
Yeah.
But you can have some amazing sunrise and sunset experiences now that you have teens in the family. Number 9, fun gateway towns often have options that smaller children can't take advantage of, like go-karting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Pigeon Forge.
yep, exactly. That was exactly what I was thinking.
Zip lining.
River rafting.
River rafting. Stuff
Yep.
like that is way more fun with teenagers.
Number 10, no strollers or carriers.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, less equipment, baby.
You can walk by yourself.
I know.
Yay.
Number 11.
Maybe not without complaining, though.
Yeah, slightly different. Well, number 11, water sports are fun and exciting, and drowning concerns go from 95% to 15%.
Yeah.
Okay. Going from wading being your adventure to cliff jumping is a huge difference. Oh my gosh.
Can you tell John's really excited for teens?
Well, my oldest son, he's not quite a teen yet, but we're dipping our toes into some of this stuff, and it's so much fun.
He paddleboards by himself. We went paddling. We went kayaking in Congaree recently, and I was in the kayak with him, and he was just like, "Mom, I don't need you. I would like to do this by myself." I was like, "Oh, I guess we are kind of to that stage. How weird."
Yeah.
That's very strange.
Along the lines of what you just said, number 12, teens are more autonomous and can carry their own food, drinks, and gear.
Which is a big deal because I'm kind of tired of being the pack horse
Right.
for my kids.
I
So
know.
we have started shifting them into you're carrying your water, you're carrying your food, you're carrying your clothes. And we went backpacking and they did that and it was okay. They did good.
It's amazing. Even just that first step of the child carries their own water is huge. It feels so good. Number 13, teens are bigger and stronger and can handle more strenuous activities. And my note on this was, more miles, more fun.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. The options for adventure explode to the infinite once the kids are capable teenagers.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, like, there's so many backpacking trips we want to go on
Yeah.
that we've been waiting for our kids to reach that age. Number 14, no more car seats.
That's a big deal, especially when you're flying somewhere.
Yes.
You do not want to lug car seats, and they can carry their own luggage through the
Exactly.
airport. That's a big deal.
Along the same lines as airport, you can trust that the kids won't get lost. So the Home Alone, that
Yeah.
situation, Kevin was 8 when he was
too young.
Yep. A teenager, you don't have to worry about. You have to worry about Buzz's attitude a little bit.
Yeah. But at least they end up on the same plane as you.
Exactly. And the last one, 16. This is a big one. Teens will actually remember the trips that they take.
Yeah. That is a big one.
I did the math the other day. Our kids have been to 49 national parks. And I can tell you confidently that our kids do not remember visiting 49 national parks. I just hope that they have not forgotten more than they remember at this point.
Yeah. But it is cool once you reach that age where it's like, I'm going to look back and remember this trip.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Exactly. And so, like I said at the beginning, teens get a lot of shade. But listen, teens, you can be the best travel companions for your parents, and you and your parents can go on some amazing adventures together. And that's what this episode is all about.
Yep. So let's jump in. We have 6 parks here that we think are really awesome for teenagers.
Yes.
The asterisk on this is you can go to any park with teenagers. Any of them. And then we didn't include in this list parks that it's like, there's some really cool stuff you can do if you have a teenager. But it's also a park that, like, if you have little kids, you would be fine too. You can see a lot of stuff still.
Right. Like I said, we've had our kids and they're young and they've been to 49 and
and our kids, I think, have been to everywhere on our list. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've done all of these teenager parks with our kids, but there's just certain quirks to some of these parks where it's like, this really would be better if your kid was older for certain reasons. And so we wanted to pick out our favorites that we want to talk about today. But just didn't mention Glacier, Yosemite, Grand Teton, places where you're going to want to hike some really long trails and stuff. Those are great for teenagers too, but we take our kids there all the time, our young kids.
Right.
And there's still a lot to do. So
we didn't want to just put things on the list where you had to do miles and miles and miles of hiking.
Yeah, we wanted to be a little bit, we're branching out here a little bit, trying to give you some different ideas. And a lot of these parks actually are smaller parks that you might not even have on your radar.
Right. And like you mentioned, it's the quirks that make it just perfect for a more capable human.
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump in with number 1. Park number 1 is North Cascades National Park in Washington State.
Right.
So the thing about North Cascades National Park is it is a lot of big, long hiking trails. There's only really one road through the park. And there's not a lot of shorter stuff to do.
Right.
So we've been here with our kids and we do just fine. But it's like, there's definitely we want to do more. We want to see more of the park. And in order to do that, you really do need to have more wilderness skills.
Yes,
and they need to be able to carry their own water and stuff like that. And so what we like to do and what we would recommend doing, hiking Cascade Pass and beyond. You can backpack up in there. Holy smokes. That. We've done the trail, but I am dying to get back there with a backpack and spend more time up in Cascade Pass.
It's so beautiful.
And then you also have Maple Pass, which is a really cool trail, longer trail that would just be more enjoyable with older kids.
Longer trail, major elevation.
Yeah.
The main reason why I thought this one was a little bit quirky for teens is because one of the coolest attractions in North Cascades for me is Stehekin.
Yeah.
Which is a town inside the national park boundaries that you can only access via boat or plane.
And people live there.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yes.
It's super cool.
Most people take a ferry out there, and the ferry takes hours.
Because you're on Lake Chelan. You have to go up Lake Chelan up to the top to get into Stehekin.
Uh-huh.
And this is part of North Cascades, or the North Cascades complex, which makes up a couple different national
Recreation.
park areas and stuff.
Right.
So you get up in there, but it's like a finger lake.
Yeah.
Lake Chelan is. It's really long.
It's a snake.
And narrow. Yeah. And so it does. It's like 4 hours each way to get up there on a boat.
Which
And
is
so,
really hard for
it
little
is.
kids.
It is. And so having older kids to get up in here. And then when you get up there, there's very few amenities and stuff. And you're going to want to stay a little while and explore a little bit. And it's just a tiny community. You probably don't have a car. You're probably taking a bus tour to see things, stuff like that. So, yeah, just really nice if like your kids can handle a long ferry ride like that, and then can also handle a bus tour or extra walking to get around Stehekin when you get there.
Exactly. It's such a cool place.
Yeah.
And it's an outdoor adventurer's dream.
Oh, Stehekin is gorgeous.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to go back there. I loved it.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if you look up pictures of North Cascades National Park, you'll see the Ross Lake Resort.
Mm-hmm.
And this is they're like cabins on the water. It's so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
And you
looking.
wouldn't want like a little kid there because you'd be worried the whole time. What if they just wander off?
Well, because they're like floating in the water.
Yeah.
The cabins are.
Floating cabins.
Yeah. To have older kids that you're not worried about all the time, you can just like jump off your cabin porch into the lake.
Exactly.
Like that's sweet. But it's kind of a parent's nightmare for young kids.
Yes.
So anyway, Ross Lake Resort is really popular thing to do at North Cascades, and that would be awesome with teenagers.
Yes.
So for North Cascades National Park, we recommend going mid to late July, kind of right there in those last 2 weeks of July, so that you can avoid the wildfire season, because the wildfire season in this park is horrendous.
So bad.
It's always so bad. Every year we're up there, we're like, oh my gosh.
And I don't think it ever misses a wildfire season.
And Stehekin, even just last year, almost burnt down. The fires got so close. But that seems to happen almost every year now.
Mm-hmm.
It's always like right by Stehekin. So yeah. We like to get in there before August, but not too early, because then like Cascade Pass isn't open. You can't get up there till like mid-July is usually when they open the road. So
Right.
you've got a very short window of time, but awesome park for older kids.
Yeah. The next park is so epic. It's so cool. We're talking about Denali National Park. And this one, Ash worked up by Denali.
I did. It's in Alaska.
Yes.
I've worked in several Alaska parks. And really, Denali, in this case, represents pretty much all of Alaska parks.
Yes.
We just picked one. But Alaska has a lot of really cool national parks that would just be, I think, better for older kids because, A, it costs $1 million bajillion
Right.
to get to some of these parks.
This one really relates to rule number 16, which means that this is just a really expensive place to forget.
Yeah, it is. It is. You want to go when your kids are going to remember. Denali in particular, though, is one of the easier ones to get to. And it's just absolutely phenomenal. So cool.
Mm-hmm.
But what makes Denali better for older kids is that to really see the national park, you need to take a bus tour.
Mm-hmm.
They don't let you drive your own vehicle more than like 15 miles into the park. And the park road is 90 plus miles.
Mm-hmm.
So you're barely, I mean, even where you can drive your vehicle, you really can't even see the mountain from there.
And that last 75 miles is what's so exciting anyways.
Yeah, but you have to take a bus back in there. And we're talking, I mean, to get all the way back to like Wonder Lake, which is kind of the big destination close to the mountain, you're talking like a 10 to 11 hour round trip bus ride.
Right.
And
it's pretty rough on the body. I'm not going to lie.
It is. And, who wants to sit in a bus with young, whiny kids for that long?
Right.
We've done it.
We have done it, and it is very challenging.
But having teenagers, I mean, where they can just sit and, I don't know, read a book or, I don't know, what do teenagers do? Scroll on their phone.
Well,
Just to have some way that they can just sit and look out the window without needing anything.
well, that's exactly what I'm saying,
Yeah.
because one of the best parts of that bus ride is this landscape is so wild and it is full of amazing wildlife. And so the more eyes you have looking out the windows, the more likely you are to find that bear.
Someone's going to spot a wolf or
Yes.
something,
Exactly.
Oh, which is so cool.
I know. And
Such
so
a
you
cool thing
need,
about
and
Denali.
so your teen and yourself, you're working together to find that wolf or to find that bear. And so the more eyes you have looking out, the better, instead of, trying to keep the kids entertained with certain games and things like that.
And the other thing about Denali is that there are some established hiking trails, but a lot of this park is just off-trail hiking.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're going to do a hike, you take the bus out to where you want to start your hike and they just drop you off. You
Right.
just get off and you hike. You pre-plan as much as you can, whatever, but you just hike.
You're just
There's not a
bushwhacking.
trail, and then you make your way back to the road and flag down a bus to pick you back up. And so it's really unique.
Yeah.
And when you have older kids with you, that would just be so much more fun to do that off-trail hiking and to be okay waiting for a bus, be okay camping in the back country with, nobody around and no one really knows you're there. All of that. I mean, it's such a raw and wild landscape. And to have older kids with you there would just be much more fun.
They're more of it's funner to have them be an asset,
Yeah.
instead
And like we
of,
said, they can carry their own stuff. They're not going to be, you're not going to be worried about them
exactly.
as much. So that's true of Denali. And then I worked at Glacier Bay. And Glacier Bay is, again, that one's mostly a water park. It's a lot of kayaking and paddling and stuff, not
Mhm.
as many trails. And so that one would be better for older kids that can paddle their own kayak.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go to some of the others like Lake Clark or Gates of the Arctic, some of these ones, you can only take a bush plane to get to those ones. There are some bush plane operators that won't even consider taking kids under a certain age
Right.
to get to those places. That's the problem we kind of ran into as we were trying to see more of the Alaska parks. It's like, well, they won't even take our kids at this point.
Right.
So you do need older kids for a lot of those bush plane flights too.
Exactly.
So that's why Alaska, it's kind of like all encompassing. But if you could do an epic Alaska National Parks trip with your teenagers, oh my gosh, talk about an unforgettable experience.
Exactly. Oh, that'd be so much fun.
Okay. So park number 3, and this is my top choice. I think this park is a teenager park through and through.
Yeah. Well,
in every way.
and in some ways, I think that this is if you're trying to warm up your teenager to outdoor adventure,
Yeah.
this is the park to take them to.
Yeah.
Because not only does it just have epic adventures, but it's also they're going to care about this. It's Instagrammable.
So Instagrammable. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everybody wants this. So, okay. So park number 3 is Zion National Park in Utah.
Right.
And every time we go here, and again, we're native Utahns. We're in Zion a lot. We take our kids to Zion a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But we, with our children, have not been able to do some of the really famous things that you do in Zion. They're just not old enough. I don't feel comfortable. So our kids have not hiked to the top of Angel's Landing on the chains.
Nope.
They have not done the Narrows with us yet, which I think they're getting there-ish.
Our younger one
one's
is still not strong enough to withstand the river.
The river current.
Yeah, it's gonna push him right over.
Well, he'll just whine the whole time. Let's say it like it is. That's a challenging hike through the river, and I don't think he would make it very far.
Right.
Without tons of complaining. So the subway in Zion is a big one that people like to do that really requires either rappelling skills or just the ability to hike really far.
Mm-hmm.
Observation point, that's another big one. You can't do the main trail anymore, but you can go the backside to get to Observation Point. But then you're standing on this giant monolith with just sheer cliffs
Right.
on all sides of you,
Yep.
right? And so, like, everything big and famous and popular in Zion National Park that you absolutely need to do is really not great for kids.
No, it's not. And it'll push your kids enough that they're just like, "Ugh, this
I
is,"
did it.
yes.
Like, this was a huge deal, and I did it.
They accomplish something
Yeah.
with each of these things that they're able to do.
And everything is so exciting and different, and just everything's on such a large scale
Yeah.
at Zion that
It-
it's like it gets your adrenaline pumping like crazy. Like, if you have kids who love adventures
Mhm.
and love kind of pushing limits, Zion is the perfect park for that.
Or even, and like I mentioned before, if you're trying to warm your kid up to some outdoor recreation, this place is larger than life
Yeah.
and really easy to appreciate. And so when
It is. I mean, the view's just
and so
everywhere,
and
around
so
every corner.
they'll get out of the car and they'll look away from their phone and they'll just keep looking up as the canyon rises above them.
Yeah.
You know, in my mind, what you're trying to do is replace the dopamine that they're getting from the social media and replace it with natural dopamine that they're getting from hiking and stuff.
Yeah.
And this place will give it to them so easily.
Yeah. Every time. That's like my number one. You want a good park for a teenager? Take them to Zion, because we are itching for our kids to get older. We do bits and pieces of all these can't miss activities with our kids right now. Like, they've hiked most of the way to Angel's Landing, but they're not old enough to do the chains yet comfortably. I'm not comfortable with that portion with them yet. And so it's like, yeah, they've done a lot and we've done a lot and we love that park and we go back to that park and we enjoy what we do together in that
And
park.
you and I have gone back and done some of these things, but without them.
Yeah, we've left the kids behind. Like, we hiked the entire Narrows from top down
Mm-hmm.
and camped in the canyon and stuff. It was awesome, but we didn't take our kids on that. I mean, the water was chest or, shoulder level on me
Mm-hmm.
when we were going through some sections of that. And so it's just like, to take a 7-year-old, back through that I would not be comfortable with that.
Right.
And I had a hard time keeping my body upright as I hiked through the river. Having to help another person stay safe on that hike just would be very stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why Zion is a teenager park through and through. Like, if
Yeah.
you've got kids that can do their own hiking and enjoy getting out and doing something really, really cool and adrenaline pumping, Zion is perfect for that.
Not to mention
So,
all the canyoneering you can do outside of the park.
yeah.
And so
Yeah, lots of rappelling, lots of UTVing, lots of just mountain biking.
Yep.
Anything you want to do outside of the park, you'll find in that area as well. So, super cool. I would say Canyonlands in Utah nearby, that it kind of is the same vibe.
mm-hmm.
Canyonlands is a little bit better for older kids. But the problem with that one is, like, Arches is one of my favorite parks for little kids. And Canyonlands and Arches are so close together that it's like, just take them when you go. Like, whenever you go, you'll have the best of, Canyonlands is a little bit for older kids. Arches is for younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good crossover there. You'll like both.
Yep.
Regardless of your kids' ages. So, but Zion, I do feel like, is definitely like more. If you can wait till your kids are a little bit older and do all those big things with them, you'll have a much more enjoyable time.
Right.
So, park number 4 is, I think this one is pretty obvious, but it's the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
And the Grand Canyon National Park in Arizona, I cannot tell you just, how nervous I get taking my young kids to this one. We still do it. You just have to be super vigilant. And so to have older kids on the cliffs of the canyon, I can imagine, would just make you breathe a little bit better.
Because with younger kids, there's peril everywhere.
Yeah.
And your whole mindset, you're just like a chicken, keep corralling the chicks underneath your wings the whole time, making sure they don't get too close to the edges. And the edges are everywhere, especially if you're on some of the trails, which are just switchbacking straight down. Cliffs on your right, cliffs on your left, cliffs on your right, cliffs on your left.
Well, and Grand Canyon, the magic of the Grand Canyon for me is those longer trails. That's the coolest part,
Yeah.
I think, is hiking below the rim and getting down into the canyon.
Yep.
And so those trails are just definitely much better suited for older kids.
Yep.
Like John said, there's lots of edges. You're dealing with like dehydration and making sure that you're eating enough and
Cacti.
going to the bathroom in a bush, all that stuff that you have to do on these longer trails, just much easier with older kids.
Yeah. And once you dip down, things get larger than life again. And it's just so cool and easy to appreciate for your teenagers. But one thing that I thought about the Grand Canyon specifically that would be really good for a teenager, it was when I was a teenager that I realized that the Grand Canyon was like a family legacy for me.
Uh-huh.
And so, that's when you can remember your parents bringing you back. My grandpappy brought me to the Grand Canyon, when I was a teenager or when I was a kid and we came back. And that's when you can remember this is a legacy that I'm continuing on here.
Yeah.
And the Grand Canyon is such a staple in American culture
Yeah.
that a teenager will remember this and appreciate that they're keeping the tradition alive.
Yeah. And then they'll be able to take their kids and say, I went to the Grand Canyon when I was your age.
Yep.
Pass those stories on. The Grand Canyon is a great one for older kids.
Yes.
For these last two, we're actually going underground, which I'm very excited about.
Yes.
So number 5 is Mammoth Cave. And Mammoth Cave, we take our kids to Mammoth Cave and they enjoy it.
Yep.
But what a lot of people don't realize, and this is in Kentucky, so shout out to the east. We're heading a little bit more east for this one. But the thing about Mammoth Cave that a lot of people don't realize, because this cave is so massive, I mean, it's the longest cave system in the world. Crazy, right?
Yes.
So because this cave system is so long, there is just like hours upon hours upon hours of exploration that can take place in here. And so my favorite tour at Mammoth Cave is a 4-hour-long tour. And that's a very, very long tour for anyone.
Yes, exactly.
But definitely not something that I like to take my kids on. That's one that I did by myself.
And we've been on some of these tours where people did bring their younger children and they survived.
Yeah.
But survival isn't necessarily the goal here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long time to be in the dark. It's a long time to be squeezing through passages and learning about history and, following a tour. Yes, they do have shorter tours, but like I said, my favorite tour is the Grand Avenue tour. That one's 4 hours long.
Right.
That's really a tour better suited towards older kids. And then I've done the Lantern Tour, the Violent City Lantern Tour. That's a 3-hour-long one, and your kids do need to be older for that one too.
Yep.
For those lantern tours. And then, okay, this is crazy. A lot of caves have what are known as like wild cave tours where they let you put on like the jumpsuit and you get to squeeze through really small areas and see things that most people don't get to see.
Right.
And I worked at Timpanogos Cave National Monument here in Utah. And so I gave tours like that. I just love caves. I think they're so cool. But the wild cave tour at Mammoth Cave is like a whole day.
Right.
It's like 6 hours.
Oh my gosh. And you have to fit, before you go, you have to be able to fit. They like put you through like a sleeve.
Well, and you have to be 16 or older for
Right.
these wild cave tours. And 6 hours in a cave, that's a really long time.
Yeah.
And so I put Mammoth Cave on this list because I was like, dude, like to take your kids here, to take your teenagers here, you can do some really, really cool things if your kids are older. Things that a lot of people don't get to do.
Right.
You get to see parts of Mammoth Cave that a lot of people don't get to see because, you do need to be older to be able to do these things. And then second to the cave tours, so last time I went, I did not take my kids. And my brother and I kayaked the Green River, which is the river that goes right through Mammoth Cave National Park. And so they have outfitters that will like drop you off miles away and then you kayak down to the main part of Mammoth Cave near the visitor center. And that river was so slow moving and it took a long time. It was really fun,
Mm-hmm.
but it was an hours long. I mean, it was like a half a day
It's pretty
on the
strenuous,
water. Yeah. Well, it
mainly
just,
because you had to
we
move your
had to
own.
paddle a lot because the river wasn't really pushing us. And I'm glad I did it, but I'm definitely glad I didn't have my little kids with
Right.
me on that too.
Yeah.
So, just a few things to think about. Like, I think a lot of people would be like, Mammoth Cave, a teenager park? Really? Because it is a very family friendly national park.
Right.
But I just think, especially for the Grand Avenue tour, because that's my favorite,
Yeah.
you need older kids for that one.
I had a really weird reason why this is a good teenage park.
Okay.
And it kind of has to do with the history a little bit. And so I think, teenagers can really appreciate the history and science a little bit more than younger kids can. But I think that there is some history associated with Mammoth Cave National Park that is really interesting, that can be appreciated specifically by teenagers of this like next generation, because all of these teenagers will have lived through COVID and will totally understand why a bunch of people were willing to try living in a cave for a while to try to cure them of a disease.
Yeah.
You know? They'll just understand it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and on that same vein, like a lot of the tours in Mammoth Cave are geared towards a certain subject.
Right.
And so if you do the historic tour, they are talking about like the tuberculosis hospital
Mm-hmm.
and they are talking about the slaves that gave the initial tours and did most of the work exploring the cave.
Right.
And so they're talking about that. And then this last time we were there, we did the River Styx tour, which takes you down to the depths of the bottom of the cave where the river is. There's an inside river, which is
Right.
crazy. That one was basically a strictly geology tour.
Right.
And our kids were fine. They did okay. But they really didn't understand a lot of what the ranger was talking about. I mean, I was having a hard time sometimes understanding. I was like, wow, I don't like geology this much. But, there's just so much to learn at Mammoth Cave in addition to just seeing the cave. And so I do think having older kids who have learned about a lot of this stuff in school or, have a point of reference for what they're learning about will make a big difference on these, especially these really long tours where you're with a ranger for 3 to 4 hours, and it makes it easier. So, anyway, so that's Mammoth Cave. That's why I chose that one. I think a lot of people don't realize that it has some really long tours that are perfect for teenagers.
Right.
So, and then I said we were going underground for both. So the last national park that we want to recommend for families with teens is Wind Cave National Park in South Dakota.
Which is so cool. I love this cave.
There's one particular reason why this cave is so cool for teenagers. Because we've taken our kids here, and most of the tours through this cave are fairly short.
Right.
An hour, hour and a half. So that's not the issue.
Nope.
But what makes this cave so cool for teenagers is the history.
Yeah. The main reason this place was made a national park was in large effort because of a teenager.
Yeah, a really cool teenager.
Yes.
I love learning about this when I'm here.
His name was Alvin McDonald, and his family, they were really excited about the cave and they brought lots of tourists here and things like that. But he discovered and mapped like 8 to 10 miles of Wind Cave National Park with candles.
Yeah.
He did it with candlelight.
When he was 16.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't until like the 1960s, 70 years after, Alvin had already passed away. It took like 70 years for explorers to discover places that he hadn't been yet.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me.
And it's cool because he kept a journal of his findings, and you can still see that in the Visitor Center Museum. And just all of the excitement around Wind Cave National Park and the reason that it is a national park and the reason that we know so much about it is because of Alvin McDonald, a 16-year-old who lived near the cave and just liked to go explore it.
Yeah, and
it's crazy.
And they have his journal where he just kind of like writes down, couple people came into the cave, took them through. Still don't know their names yet.
Yeah.
He just has all these notes about everything he did for years inside the cave.
Yeah.
And like one of them is so funny. He's like, accidentally left some people in the cave today, but don't worry, I went back in and got them. It was so funny. But no, this is a teenager's masterpiece
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
Well, and it's his legacy, right? He didn't live very long, unfortunately, and you can learn about that when you get to Wind Cave. Definitely, learn more about his story. But Wind Cave is his legacy. He is the original explorer of
Yeah.
Wind Cave. He's the one we still talk about.
Yeah.
And when he did that, he was like age 16 to 20, 16 to 19, somewhere in there. So he was just a teenage kid who loved exploring the cave.
I know.
And he made all these cool strides forward to get Wind Cave protected and to help people enjoy it and to appreciate it. And I just love that story. That's my favorite story.
I know.
And we love the South Dakota area. There's so many cool parks and things to see in this area. But I just think, if you want to show a teenager how like being a teenager can be a good celebrated thing, that you can do good and you can make a difference, like Wind Cave Alvin's story is so cool.
Also making the case that teenagers are so capable.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so funny. I mean, my sons, we recently watched Master and Commander. It's a story about sailors, and it was so crazy, and it's like a really good depiction of what life was like. But a lot of the officers on the ship were like 13 to 15 years old.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and then me and my sons did a bunch of research and learning about that time period, and some of our favorite people joined the Navy at 12 years old, they traveled the world. And it's like teenagers can do amazing things.
Yeah.
And Wind Cave is like the perfect national park example of that.
Yeah, we all celebrate what this teenager did.
Right.
So I know, I love that. And I love the story of Alvin McDonald.
Yeah.
So I felt like we really needed to add that to this list because it's just like, dude, you want to see how cool a teenager can be? Go to Wind Cave and learn about Alvin McDonald.
Definitely.
We love teenagers. We are so excited for our kids to be teenagers.
Right.
So we can get out into these parks. And as we said at the beginning, like we didn't talk about like Yosemite, Glacier, Mount Rainier, some of these big hiking parks.
Mm-hmm.
Those are absolutely great options.
Right.
So don't write those ones off, but we wanted a different list that maybe helped you come up with something that would fit your teen, their personality, something that would be a great option for your specific family.
Yeah.
So,
and like I said, we have younger children and they have visited so many national parks. And so if you have young kids, in no way is this like saying, don't visit this national park or don't visit this national park. We're simply saying, if you have teenagers, if you find yourself with teenagers, these are some amazing places to start or to continue your journey into outdoor recreation.
So for your task today, we would love to have your recommendation. If you have teenagers in your home and you have parks that you've taken them to that they've absolutely loved, go let us know. We'll have a thread on Facebook, the Dirt in My Shoes Facebook and Instagram pages, where you can chime in and either, put another check mark next to some of these parks that we've already talked about, or give other people more ideas,
right.
Places that you've taken your kids, your teenagers that they've really enjoyed. Head over to our social channels for that. We're really excited to read through those comments and see what you have to say.
And if you're enjoying the podcast, please give the Exploring the National Parks podcast a 5-star review. We appreciate you. You're the best. And make sure this week, go get some dirt in your shoes.